So we've added our beef. It's not a lot of beef. You could certainly add more, but we're not eating a huge amount of beef in this soup. And there's the bell pepper, the onions, and the garlic, barely cooked just till you could smell them, because we don't want the vegetables overcooked in the soup. And now we're going to add a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. I really like the intense tomato flavor in this soup. And tomatoes are also one of those vegetables that are a natural diuretic. I'm going to stir it in a little bit. And then I've made 4 cups of broth with this Better Than bouillon that you can get at Costco. It's a wonderful product. This jar contains 19 quarts of broth. You just mix 1 teaspoon to each cup of water, dissolve it in boiling water. It's low sodium, and I've made the broth ahead of time. So this is 4 cups of broth, chicken broth is what I'm putting in this today. We're going to add that to our soup pot. Stir it around. I might actually even have to add more broth. I might not have made enough, but we'll see. And now we're going to add 2 cans of S&W organic ready-cut diced tomatoes to our soup. I won't know about the broth until I see how much liquid I've got from these tomatoes. And today we're going to add some chili cut tomatoes, a 10-ounce can. You can buy them as Rotel tomatoes in a lot of stores. And it's just tomatoes with diced green jalapeno chilies. We like spicy food. So we're going to stir that into our soup. And now we're going to stir in our 2 cups of celery. Like I said, if you don't like any of these vegetables, just leave them out. But this is going to make a hearty, high-fiber, nutritious soup. 2 cups of mushrooms. Just going to stir that in. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to add 2 more cups of broth to this pot. And why don't I do that, and we'll be back in just... Okay, I am adding more broth to my soup, but when I got ready to make this broth, I realized that I had only fixed 2 cups of broth before, so this actually is now 4 cups of chicken broth that I've added to my soup. And now we're going to add 4 cups of cabbage. And like you can tell, this makes a lot of soup. So I'm going to stir in my cabbage. And we're going to add our seasonings now. I'm going to add a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You could certainly put, I'm thinking, I think I'll start out with a ½ a teaspoon. Seems like I doubled it for a bigger pot. You can always put more in, but you can't take it out. So we're going to have ½ a teaspoon of cayenne pepper to give it a little heat. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt. You can salt it to taste. Like salt's the same thing. You can't take it out if you put too much in. 2 teaspoons of black pepper. We really like the flavor of black pepper. And we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. Like I told you in another video, we buy our seasoning in bulk and just replenish these bottles. So that's 3 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, a tablespoon of dried basil, and a tablespoon of dried oregano. And we really like parsley in our soup, so I'm going to guess that I'm going to put in about a 1/4 cup of dried parsley. If you had fresh parsley, that'd be fine. We had fresh parsley out of the garden in the summer. And so now we're going to stir in our seasonings, and I'm going to bring this pot to a simmer, and I'll be right back. So now I've had my soup, I brought it to a boil, lowered the heat, and I've had it simmering for about 15 minutes with the lid on. And now I'm going to add about a cup of cut okra to my pot. This is very southern. It's the way I grew up. Like I said, if there's any of these vegetables you don't like, just leave them out. But this is the way we make this soup. And now we're going to add a cup of frozen string beans. A lot of this would depend on what's in season, but we try to avoid vegetables that are high in carbs or sugar. So now I'm going to put the lid back on and simmer this for about another 15 minutes. I don't want to cook the soup until it's done, because most of it I'm going to cool and I'm going to put it in the freezer, and I'll finish cooking it when we serve it. So I'll put my lid back on and cook this for about 15 more minutes. Then I'll take out what we're going to eat for tonight and put the rest in freezer containers. So I've simmered my soup for another 15 minutes, and I'm going to turn it off now. I'll take out what we're going to eat for dinner tonight and another night this week probably. This makes approximately 28 1-cup servings if you put everything in as I did. If you don't like okra, put an extra cup of beans in. Whatever you want to do. But that's our Charlotte's version of skinny soup. Healthy, nutritious. Like I said, when we work late at night, we come in, have a bowl of salad and a bowl of soup, and it makes a really nice dinner. Bon appetit.